Volcanoes are among the most violent natural phenomena our planet has to offer. Even the largest mountain on Earth is only about twice as tall as Mount Everest. Yet Mount Everest seems small compared to some of the volcanoes that have erupted in Earth's history. These behemoths are so large that they can be seen from space, and while we know quite a lot about our planet, these supervolcanoes still hold many secrets. If you want to learn more about some of the most powerful eruptions in history, then join us today as we explore from Yellowstone to Indonesia, the most powerful eruptions in history. Yellowstone National Park is a very famous place. It's home to bison, bears, and a supervolcano. That's right. Beneath the park is the Yellowstone caldera, which stretches for 43 by 28 miles. In total, it covers an area larger than Los Angeles. But what makes this supervolcano so fascinating is its habit of erupting at the most inconvenient times. Between 630,000 and 640,000 years ago, the magma chamber beneath Yellowstone emptied, and the largest eruption in the history of North America followed. Hot ash and rock rained down across the western half of the continent. This eruption, known as the Huckleberry Ridge eruption, was 2,000 times more powerful than the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens. And yet, life found a way to return to the area fairly quickly. Plants returned within decades and mammals returned within a few centuries. It may seem incredible, but this meant that humans could settle in the region and have done so for thousands of years. The Native Americans were among the first to make their homes here. Then, in the early 1800s, European settlers arrived, and soon after, Yellowstone National Park was established in 1872. And while there's been nothing quite like the Huckleberry Ridge eruption since then, Yellowstone is far from done. In fact, experts believe it'll erupt again sometime in the next 600,000 years. Hopefully it won't happen too soon. There are many reasons why Yellowstone is such a popular tourist destination. Its geysers and hot springs are unlike anything else you'll see on Earth, and Old Faithful is a must-see attraction for anyone who visits the park. However, these attractions wouldn't be possible if it weren't for the super eruption that happened hundreds of thousands of years ago. And that's because the massive amount of ash and rock ejected during the eruption created a large magma chamber below the surface. As the magma chamber filled up, pressure built until it was released in the form of steam and hot water. This formed the hydrothermal features that Yellowstone is so famous for today. However, the pressure continues to build, and someday it'll be released once again, hopefully not anytime soon. In August of 1943, people around the world heard a loud explosion. Some reports claim the sound could even be heard in California, nearly 3,000 miles away. But where did the sound come from? It came from the Aleutian Islands in the middle of the Bering Sea between Russia and the United States, and it was caused by the most powerful eruption of the 20th century. The Pavlov volcano erupted with such force that it caused significant damage in nearby cities. Hot ash fell over Unalaska Island, destroying buildings and killing thousands of seabirds. A thick layer of ash also blanketed the city of Dutch Harbor, which at the time had a population of about 1,000 people. Most of them lost their homes, but fortunately, no one was killed. Although the damage was severe, it could have been much worse. If the eruption had happened just a few hours earlier, many more people would have been at risk. That's because the residents of Dutch Harbor had been evacuated due to a tsunami warning. A tsunami had been generated by the eruption and was heading towards the island. And while the tsunami didn't cause any further damage, it was one of the largest ever recorded in the United States. Waves measuring 25 meters or 82 feet crashed into the west coast of the islands, causing extensive damage to docks and boats. The Tohoku earthquake and tsunami of 2011 was one of the most devastating natural disasters in modern history. With a magnitude of 9.0, it was the most powerful earthquake ever recorded in Japan, and the fourth most powerful earthquake in recorded human history. The quake triggered a massive tsunami which caused even more destruction along the country's eastern coastline. Entire towns were wiped off the map and tens of thousands of people were killed. But the disaster didn't end there. The Tohoku earthquake and tsunami also caused a nuclear disaster at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. 3 of the plant's reactors suffered meltdowns, releasing large amounts of radioactive material into the environment. The Japanese government worked tirelessly to contain the damage and prevent the spread of radiation, and while the situation was eventually brought under control, the long-term effects of the disaster are still being felt today. Krakatoa was once the largest volcanic island in Indonesia. That was until 1883, when a series of massive eruptions caused the island to collapse. The eruptions were so powerful that they were heard as far away as Australia, more than 1,000 miles away. Ash and pumice fell over a large part of the Indian Ocean, and the resulting tsunamis may have killed as many as 36,000 people. The collapse of Krakatoa formed a caldera which is now home to 3 lakes. But the story of Krakatoa doesn't end there. The island is home to several active volcanoes, and it's likely that the eruptions of 1883 were only the beginning. In recent years, scientists have been closely monitoring the volcanoes on Krakatoa, and they've noticed an increase in activity. There's a real possibility that the island could erupt again someday, which would be devastating for the people who live nearby. Mount Pinatubo is a stratovolcano located on the island of Luzon in the Philippines. For centuries the volcano was dormant, but in 1991, it erupted. The eruption was so powerful that it was the second largest volcanic eruption of the 20th century. Hot ash and gases poured out of the volcano and raced down its slopes at speeds of up to 93 miles per hour. Entire villages were wiped out and thousands of people were killed. But the disaster didn't end there. Mount Pinatubo also caused the most extensive crop failure in the history of the Philippines. Crops were destroyed across an area of over 5,000 square miles. The country's agricultural output plummeted and food prices skyrocketed. People all over the country suffered from malnutrition and thousands of children died. Although the May 18, 1980 eruption of Mount Helens was not the largest in history, it's arguably the most well-known. The eruption was so powerful that it was the deadliest in the history of the United States. 57 people were killed and billions of dollars worth of damage was done. And while the eruption was devastating, it also created some amazing sights. A massive crater was formed and hot lava flowed down the side of the mountain. Trees were knocked over and entire forests were burned. The eruption of Mount Helens is still studied by scientists today, and it's one of the most well-documented volcanic eruptions in history. Mount Vesuvius is arguably the most famous volcano in the world, and that's because it's responsible for the destruction of the Roman city of Pompeii. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius was so powerful that it buried the entire city in ash. Thousands of people were killed and the city was lost to the world for centuries. Mount Vesuvius is still considered to be one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the world, and it's closely monitored by scientists. Laki is a stratovolcano located in Iceland. In June of 1783, Laki began to erupt. The eruption lasted for 8 months and produced one of the largest lava flows in history. Ash and gases poured out of the volcano and covered the entire country in a thick layer of ash. The eruption of Laki caused widespread crop failures and led to the deaths of thousands of people. We've taken you around the world to explore some of the most powerful eruptions in history. But now we want to hear from you. Which eruption was your favorite and why? Let us know in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed learning more about these amazing natural phenomena. And if you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.